Chief Julius Malema wrongly. Forward to the non-negotiable 7 cardinal pillars of the EFF. Forward. Forward to the non-negotiable 7 cardinal pillars of the EFF. Forward. Oza 2024. Oza. Oza 2024. Oza. Amanda. Thank you very much, fighters and commissars. We are determined to start. Let me first introduce myself to those who don't know me. My name is Colin Sidibe, the provincial chairperson of the EFF. In Mpumalanga. And let me take this opportunity and welcome the President and Commander-in-Chief here in Mpumalanga today to this Provincial Ground Forces Forum. Lasio Tola Kona Umkombandlela from our President and Commander. President, we are welcome. And let me also welcome our convener of the Provincial Election Task Force, Ukomiza Mpumalanga, who is also our Treasurer General. Komiza. And also welcome the coordinator of our Provincial Election Task Force, Ukomisa Renelu Mashabe. And the convener of Ehladzeni Regional Election Task Force, Ukomisa Lirato Tito. And all officials of the province, as well as all RETF conveners and coordinators and members, all SRETF conveners and coordinators, as well as all PETF conveners and coordinators who constitute this meeting today. We are all welcome. So without any waste of time, I will now ask Commissars Nawotambo to come and sing for us Inkosi Sigeleli Africa. Commissars now.
Mandla. How are you too? Asiphakame Nsimenyawo fighters Inkosi Sigeleli Africa. Sikhulula igogo without the stem. So sicula the version of Inoxon Tonga without the stem in the EFF. When you're wearing a beret, ungayigqoka iberet. But ezinye izigqoko zingakhulula. Sicule song. Inkosi Sigeleli Africa, maluphakanyisa uphondo lwayo, izwa imithandazo yethu, Nkosi Sigelela thina lusapho lwayo, Nkosi Sigeleli Africa, maluphakanyisa uphondo lwayo, izwa imithandazo yethu, Nkosi Sigelela thina lusapho lwayo, sithi woza moya zamoya, woza woza moya, moya woza woza moya, oyi oyi ngcwele, Nkosi sikelela thina lusapho lwayo murena buluka sitshaba sa Yesu ufedise dintwa le matshwenyeo murena buluka sitshaba sa Yesu ufedise dintwa le matshwenyeo usibuluke usibuluke murena hausitshaba sa Yesu sitshaba sa Afrika usibuluke usibuluke murena hausitshaba sa Yesu sitshaba sa Afrika makube njalo kude kube ngunaphakade kude kube ngunapha makube njalo kude kube ngunaphakade kude kube ngunaphakade amandla.
Thank you very much, Commissar Snao. Commissar Snao, you are also welcome. Commissar Snao is our national spokesperson. In our midst, we also have Commissar Vian Bambo, the head of presidents. I will now call upon the provincial coordinator of the PETF, Commissar Renele Mashabela, to give us credentials. Commissar Renele.
Amandla awethu ayihule EFF Mpumalanga ayihule oza 2024 oza 2024 oza rauchia musho ka 2024 rauchia musho rauchia Agiligwe! Rauchia musho rauchia! Ramwisha Union Building President Ramwisha! Wakena Union Building wakena! Amanka! Fasiga ANC fasi! Fasiga ANC fasi! Fasiga raunko fasi! Amanka! Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair. President, out of 46 Provincial Election Task Force, 45 members are here, President. All Regional Election Task Force Presidents are here. All Sub-Regional Election Task Force Presidents are here. All 400 branches of the EFF, the conveners and the coordinators are here, President. 800 branches of the, 800 delegates from the branches of the EFF, President, are here. All 100 President, out of 144 councillors of the EFF here in Mpumalanga, 142 are here, President. President, expected number of delegates is 1,108. Present President is 1,084. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, PETF coordinator, for the credentials. I see the next item is me as well, introduction of the leadership. As I've already welcomed the leadership, as mentioned, we in our midst we have the President and Commander-in-Chief who will be doing the keynote address today. And our convener of the PETF, Commissar Mpumalanga Provincial, as well as Commissar Nelwe Mashabela, who's our coordinator, and Commissar Rato Tito, who is deployed in Tanzania region as a convener of the RETF. And on my right, we've got Rulani Trivi, the deputy chairperson of the province. And next to him is Jackson Malachi, the provincial secretary of the province. And next to him is Faitan Takom Kabela, the deputy secretary of the province. And next to her is our provincial treasurer, Faitan Nomaswazi Kambu. Those are our leadership that we have today. We have other leaders from the regions and from the branches in our midst. I see you, Fighter Ngrai, the new member of the EFF, and the team. And I see the former speaker of Nkomazi municipality, Fighter Pindile, is also in our midst. And I see Fighter Advocate Mukwebane also in our midst. You will pardon me if I've not seen you. I've seen fighters. Oh, Dr. Vauda in our midst. Yeah, President, in our midst, we have a new crops of leadership who have joined EFF and are working for the EFF. They have not joined for position from all over the province, including Mkondo and Msugalikwa, who fight high-end, they are here and so forth. Thank you very much, and all of you fighters, we are once more welcome. Without any waste of time, let me invite the provincial convener to come and give us a welcoming address. Commissar Mpumalanga.
Thank you very much, Chair Siabulela. Greetings to the Commander-in-Chief of all progressive forces of the left, the President of the EFF, Julius Malema. Greetings to the deployees, CCT deployees led by Mamar Nelwe. When she was here doing the credentials, Chair, she forgot to mention that we're sitting at 98% attendance of the Mpumalanga. 98% attendance of the Mpumalanga Provincial Ground Forces Forum at Kamagugu in Mbombela. Let me greet the officials of the province. Let me greet the head of presidency, Commissar Vuyani. Let me greet our spokesperson, Commissar Snao. Our special guest, Advocate Mkwebana, Dr. Vauda, leaders of the regional command election task forces, sub-regional election task forces, BETFs, ground forces, you are all welcomed. We've prepared we've prepared the report, which is on your tables, all of you. It's written Mpumalanga Provincial Election Task Force Report. So I'm not going to go through each and every page. We'll just touch on the important issues. The rest you can take home so that you can see what this election task force is doing in the province. Page 3, introduction. The year 2024 will mark exactly 30 years since the attainment of political freedom in South Africa. As observed in the founding manifesto of the EFF, political freedom in South Africa has not led to economic freedom. Our people remain jobless, landless, and excluded from meaningful participation in the economy, serving merely as cheap labor for exploitation by white monopoly capital. Understanding this political and economic reality, on the 25th to 26th of August 2023 in Boksburg, Gauteng, the 20th Central Command Team of the Second National People's Assembly met to deliberate on the organization's program of action and adopt the Road to Victory Manual, a strategic tool for the 2024 national elections that will ensure the total liberation of our people. Mandated by the convener of the Central Election Task Force, Commander-in-Chief and President Julius Malema, there was no hesitation as structures were rapidly converted. In areas where there was struggle, there was immediate reinforcement to ensure compliance with the establishment of structures, because winning the election hinges on credible and dependable structures. This transformation took place amidst active participation in by-elections where victories were secured. Accordingly, in line with the Road to Victory Manual, different phases to the elections are presented, namely the Maikhome phase, which includes the conversion of EFF structures into election task forces, as well as the formation of elections and mobilization committees. The second phase is the Mamela phase, which includes holding seminars with stakeholders, experts, etc., in the different fields of society. And the third phase is the Talatupa phase, which includes the launching of the EFF People's Manifesto on the 10th of February 2024. This People's Manifesto will represent concrete commitments of what the EFF will do when elected as government, and will represent a break from unaccountability, a break from empty promises from the current government, as well as injustices of the past. With 6 months to go before the elections, which will represent a turning point in the history of South Africa, this report takes stock of the strides the deployees, committee heads, volunteers, and ground forces are making in engaging with our people, registering new voters on the ground, all to ensure that we usher in a new government of South Africa. The registration of new voters is paramount, as it is anticipated to draw a significant number of new voters to the EFF, particularly among the youth. This program, adopted at the beginning of the year, continues unabated despite all additional election work. Under PETF meetings, President, responsible for delivering the victory of the EFF by any means necessary, the Provincial Election Task Force meeting is held bi-weekly on Mondays. It is convened by myself and coordinated by Commissar Neilwe. In the period under review, the Provincial Election Task Force convened 5 meetings as indicated in the table below. The table below illustrates the attendance. The one below illustrates the attendance of members of PETF. When we turn to the regions, out of 4 expected regions, Nkangala convened only 1, Botlhabela convened 3, eTanzania convened 2, Kher Sibande convened 3. SRETF meetings. In an effort to oil the election machinery towards a total victory in 2024, the Provincial Election Task Force agreed to visit the sub-regions that were lagging behind. The PETF visited Msukaligwa at the Brighton Municipal Hall on the 3rd of October 2023, in Tembisilehani in Kogafontein on the 4th of October, in Steve Church in Middleburg on the 5th of October, in Nkomazi on the 11th of October, at Mbombela Civic Center on the 11th of October, in Tabacheu on the 23rd of October, Bushbuckridge on the 24th, and Emalahleni on the 31st. SRETF meetings are as illustrated below. On page 7, we are indicating now the special committees, the mass voter registration, the youth and students registration, the workers committee, new registration and new recruits. By elections. The EFF in Mpumalanga is pleased to have won another ward in the province following the recent by-elections of Ward 13 in Brighton, Musukaligwa. The victory in Ward 13, coupled with the remarkable increase in votes for the EFF from 281 votes in 2021 to 1,143 votes in 2023, are a further confirmation that the EFF is growing in Mpumalanga. The EFF further participated in the by-elections of Tabachu Ward 6, where EFF grew from 15% to 30%. However, the EFF in Lekwa Ward 4 performed badly by showing a decline from 4% to 2%. The EFF participated in the by-election in Musukaligwa Ward 9 on the 8th of November, President, and we increased by just 1%. Page 8, the Siyabonga rallies. Following the decisive by-election victory of Ward 13, Brighton, Musukaligwa on the 12th of October 2023, the President and Commander-in-Chief addressed two Siyabonga rallies, namely in Ward 13, Brighton, Musukaligwa, as well as in Ward 11, Kahoi, Nkomazi, where the EFF won its first ward in the province. Spreading the gospel of economic freedom in our lifetime, the Provincial Election Task Force agreed to visit churches on a regular basis. The PETF visited and addressed the Turning Point International Christian Church congregation in Mpumalanga on the 29th of October 2023, as well as on the 5th of November 2023 at Life Kingdom Church service in Ward 19, Tembisilehani. I'm pleased to also indicate that tomorrow, 10 o'clock, will be here in this very same church addressing the congregants of this church. President, Mpumalanga Province comprises of 400 wards, which have all been converted into branch election task forces, all of which have been submitted to the EFF National Office with verification still ongoing. The table below provides an account on the progress. The table is below. Page 9, listening to inputs and concrete proposals from various sectors of the economy, influential people, role players, the Provincial Election Task Forces held 4 sectoral meetings, and the table below indicates which are the sectoral meetings held: tourism, African diaspora formations, students, and security. More sectoral meetings are being planned, and the table below gives an account of when and where the sectoral meetings will be held. President, towards the upcoming voter registration weekend taking place on the 18th and 19th of November, party agents and volunteers have been identified. Municipal party liaison officers' particulars have been submitted for all our 17 municipalities in the province. A full report in this regard has been submitted to the Office of the National Election Coordinator. In conclusion, the EFF in Mpumalanga has shown remarkable progress and expansion, as evidenced by the surge in votes during the recent by-elections of Ward 13 in Brighton, Musukaligwa, and Tabachu. This upward trajectory is mirrored in the comprehensive engagement achieved through the PETF meetings, which convene bi-weekly, and the regional election task forces assemblies. Additionally, the province has hosted consultative meetings. All 400 branch election task forces have been established. The current focus right now is on finalizing the voting district election task forces and mobilizing 20 volunteers per voting district, ensuring robust support across all fronts. The culmination of these efforts is a finely tuned electoral machine poised to realize the aspirations of the people of Mpumalanga in the 2024 elections, reinforcing the EFF's commitment to both qualitative and quantitative growth and to the broader vision of economic liberation. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Convener, for the report of the work done so far. And let me also take this opportunity and introduce our 2-ward councillor, Councillor Mafia Fani. Can you stand up? And Councillor Spiwe Ngwenya. You stand up. Oh, at the back. Thank you very much. Oh, this side. Oh, thank you. Now, I'm going to call the provincial convener to come and introduce our main speaker or guest speaker, Commissar. Singashaya kwichi kancane before it's fine.
O Malema siyaboza kunzima, Malema siyaboza kunzima. O Malema siyaboza, O Malema siyaboza kunzima. O sesi no 10 years, emgaqweni namanje ayekho socialism. O sesi no 10 years. Emgaqweni namanje ayekho socialism. Malema siyaboza, O Malema siyaboza, O Malema siyaboza, O Malema siyaboza. O sesi no 10 years, emgaqweni namanje ayekho socialism. O sesi no 10 years, emgaqweni namanje ayekho socialism. Shona malanga shona, shona malanga shona, shona malanga shona, shona malanga shona. O mambushi, mambushi wafele kopi, namanje ayekho socialism. O mambushi, mambushi wafele kopi, namanje ayekho socialism. Shona malanga, Angelize fighters. Shona malanga shona, shona malanga shona, shona malanga shona. O sesi no 10 years. O sesi no 10 years. Amandla, Amandla, Amandla. Aykhole EFF, aykhole. Aykhole EFF, aykhole. Thank you very much, Chair. I get a remiso moholo. Yeah, so fanele kubonakala ukuthi ubuholi bethu bukhona. So fighters, my job is very simple. Is to call on stage son of the soil, the African revolution leader, who is going to usher in economic freedom from the south tip of Africa to the northern tip of Africa. The commander-in-chief of all progressive forces of the left, the president of the economic freedom fighters. President, the stage is yours.
Amandla, Amandla, Viva EFF, Viva, Tata EFF, Tata, Tata EFF, Tata, Woza 2024, Woza, Woza 2024, Woza, Liabasabana, 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 Ikalapi, Ikala Pambili, Ikale Kaleni, Ikale Mufa, Ikalapi, Ikalapi. Ikalapi. Sibambeni. Sibambeni. Sibambe impi. Sibambeni. 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 Watinta tina. Watinta tina. Watinta tina. Watinta mabube. Watinta tina. Watinta tina. Watinta tina. Ama puppets. Watinta ma puppets. Ama puppets. Watinta ma puppets. Ama puppets. Ama puppets. Watinta ma 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 puppets. Amandla. Amandla. Wimpi mpura mapos. 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 Hai urmapos. Hai uramapos. 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 Wimpi mpuramapos. Wimpi mpuramapos. Wimpi mpuramapos. Amandla. You must repeat that everywhere where you go. That Ramaphosa kimpimpi. Wataga to Ramaphosa. Wataga to Ramaphosa. Wataga to Ramaphosa. Magasusu Ramaphosa. Magasusu Ramaphosa. Wimpimpu Ramaphosa. Umulalu Ramaphosa. Wimpimpu Ramaphosa. Umulalu Ramaphosa. Amandla. Thank you very much, Provincial Chairperson and your officials, together with elected provincial leaders, our convener of the elections and the coordinator and all commissars who are deployed here, and those that came to come and be part of this important meeting, our regional election task forces, sub-regional election task forces, branch election task forces, and our PR councillors and ward councillors. So when you acknowledge councillors, you must distinguish them so that others must know. They must not think they enjoy the same rights as the ones who won the wards. There must be a difference. PR councillors and ward councillors. Former public protector who's a member of our parliament, and I've heard that Ngrai is also here with other comrades who joined the EFF, former leader of the EFF in the Central Command team and member of parliament, Dr. Vauda. I've seen Godrich's mother here, our former SG, the mother of the former SGs here, with the wife and the other sister-in-law. The reason why they can't be introduced as guests is because they are ground forces themselves, so they are part of everyone here. And I learned this from Commissar Godrich, that we should actually make everyone in our family to be a ground force. They have to play 1 or 2 roles in our branches, either as party agents, as volunteers. Others who have money, they should adopt the wards where they come from and support those wards of the EFF directly from our families. So my wife is not a volunteer, Godrich's wife. When you live here, you must call her and tell her that Sibambe impi, and then we must all come together and help our husbands to fight this battle. It must start at home and go and fight this thing. So I know you will go do a very good job, I trust you. Because if I go and say she must be a volunteer, she's going to tell me about the children, about the house, about this, everything in this house is done by me, now I must still go to the EFF. So she can't say that to you. Because when she says children, you say, I've got children too. When she says the house, I've got the house too. And I still volunteer in the EFF. So, comrades, this is a very important meeting of the EFF where election structures of the EFF come together to make a reflection of their readiness towards 2024. Some of these slogans I was chanting are slogans that our comrades were chanting in the 80s. So when you say 2024 is your 1994, it means 2023 must be your 80s. Because there was no 1994 without the 80s. So the agitated youth of the 80s that fought tirelessly in response to the call made by O.R. Tambo for them to render South Africa unworkable, an apartheid government ungovernable. The youth of the 80s, non-stop, they fought to a point where in 1985, if not 1986, the state had to declare state of emergency twice in 1 year. So when a state of emergency is declared, it's martial law. The law enforcement do as they wish, they don't care what happens. They were beating the youth, they were killing the youth, they were burning everything. That youth doubled their efforts and were never intimidated. The state declared another one in an attempt to suppress that anger of the youth. So if you want 2024 to be your 1994, you ought to embrace the spirit, the defiance spirit of the fire eaters of the 80s. And those who think and believe that the ANC will survive in 2024, you must pity them. When they say to you the ANC is going to win the elections in 2024, you must say, Ah Hashem. Because they are in denial and they are unscientific. So when they say to you, but what are you basing your argument on when you say the ANC is not going to win the elections in 2024? You must tell them it's not me, it's Ipsos. And Ipsos is the research. And research is science. It's not emotions. It's not anger. It's not whether I like this one or I don't like that one. Science say the ANC will not win the elections. And then ask them in return, why do you say the ANC will win? I gave you the answer. They're going to tell you a long story. We were in exile. We fought in exile. We are Mkonto Wesizwe. Hey, what? They are going to tell you a useless history that we celebrated and we are now charting a way forward. We saluted them, we celebrated them, we honored them, and they did not return the favor. So standing here today is the government of South Africa come 2024, whether they like it or not. Comrades, sometimes you must sit back and ask yourself a question. What was going to happen to South Africa if there was no EFF? Where were we going to be if this organization was not here? Where these people were doing as they wish, and they still are doing as they wish in the presence of the EFF. And the EFF keeps on exposing them and exposing them, but they are not retreating. Imagine if there was no EFF. It would have been worse than what we are experiencing today. Our people will still be swimming in a pool of confusion. Will be still swimming in a pool of lies. Because EFF opened people's eyes. Yafita yabula parlamente, parliament became the people's parliament, but Bazatsibur parliament has got a channel on TV. Today people know there is a channel on TV of parliament because of EFF. They can follow and they can see corrupt people being exposed. It is EFF that made the youth to once more be interested in politics. The youth of South Africa were drifting away from politics and saying this thing is not helping us, it's not useful to us, let's go and just drink alcohol and drown in drugs. The EFF is gradually doing away with youth political apathy. And when they say to you, why do you say that? What are you basing that on? Say to them, go to each and every university, go to any TVET college, everywhere in South Africa, the EFF is in charge because the youth of South Africa have got full confidence in the EFF. Even where the EFF is not in charge, the EFF won the elections. They just went to do some mushkashiga to remove the EFF, like in the University of Pretoria, right at the center of racist, white supremacists. The EFF went to take power there. And you can't say this is an organization of illiterate people who Malema is misleading. Those kids at the university don't want to become councillors, don't want to become members of parliament. They know how to read and write. They know how to analyze, and they know what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. The EFF makes sense to young people of South Africa. It is this youth that knows that for us to be who we are, we'll have to reclaim our land. And who brought the land question back into the table of politics of South Africa if it's not the EFF? The EFF, with the land question, seeks to ensure that our people's dignity is restored. Comrades, if you don't have a property, you are nothing. And not only in our society, even in your home where your mother who gave birth to you never stops to remind you how useless you are. Because I own a property. Mabala, bafaba to mabala kwa. Ubizu kutamika mo na mereko. Mabala. You are reminded by your mother, not by some white person, not by a neighbor. A person who loves you never stops to remind you how useless you are. EFF is occupying land and giving people stands. Ushinamimu. Tamonyaka lebala. That's what land does. Hausna lebala usna jarata lekamo when they give inputs about the date of the burial. When you start making an input when waka back room, or no, I was thinking maybe the burial must be on Saturday. No one else, your mother. Julius, ale khomole batho ba sa bolela. Tele khomole. But when you come from your own property to come and attend a family meeting, ba tseba or no, ibile ba fithile shem, ale ba dielinyana ja uja. they prepare some food for you because people have arrived. That's what the land does to us. We are nothing without the land. And there will never be a dignity of any sort without the land. The war in Palestine is not a religious war. It's a war over the land. So the land is a source of everything because we get to be born into this land. And once they take it away from us, what else are we left with? It is the EFF that has made the people of South Africa. How important is the land question? Today, people know that the land is important. Even the children, our children, who go to Model C schools, who go to white people's schools, when a white young boy makes them angry, the only swear word they use to insult these whites, they say, "You guys stole our land, you guys." Everybody knows who is the thief. So never stop to remind them wherever you see them that you stole our land and we are going to fight and return it back into the hands of the rightful owners. Because it is our land. Comrades, we have been subjected to mediocrity in South Africa, where black people are not included in the economy or in the social sphere of this country. You know, if there is a man who has done us worse, is this guy who's the president now. This guy, whatever Mandela, Zuma, Mbeki had achieved in all those many years, it took him less than 5 years to reverse all of that. Single-handedly. If there was a person who was a BEE in ESCOM or SAA or DINEL or any other big thing you want to think of, all of them today are no longer there. They have all been removed. And they were not removed by Ramaphosa's declaration. White people went to them and said, "We no longer need you. We've got the president now. So what BEE are you going to help us with?" Unona le chelete mo amagugu mo. Leko the biggest township here. Kanyamazan. Unona le chelete kana go ja buzuma le bombeki le bomandela obeshiwa dinama obereke. Today is very rare to can point at anyone in the township or anyone in the suburb of a black skin who's got money today. No one. No one. We were building houses in the villages. We were taking our kids to the best of the best schools. In the last 5 years, all of that has been reversed and they call it corruption. But no, a Ramaphosa came and he fought corruption. Corruption means that there should not be any black person with money. Because black person and money is equal to corruption. All of that has been reversed. Legitimate, not corrupt fools. Corrupt fools who have no time for them. Legitimate business people who are doing their business honestly and feeding their families honestly. All of that has been reversed. So when you go into this election, you must know that the gains, the little gains of 1994 have been reversed. So people don't have jobs. White people will never create jobs for us. The only way the jobs can be created is that the economic empowerment must be spread amongst ourselves, and through our small and medium enterprises, we'll be able to employ 3-4 of each other. That's how you create jobs. There are no jobs because SMMEs and all those people who were involved in economic empowerment have been closed out. As a result, there are no jobs. Go and look at how was the percentage of unemployment before Ramaphosa came in, and what is the level of unemployment today. Our people live in hunger and poverty. They don't have homes. Women are beaten every day without any form of help. The summit, gender-based violence summits, and those were not summits meaning anything except PR, to appear like he's doing something about gender-based violence. Really, summiting your gender-based violence. Where are the outcomes today of that summit? If that was not a PR, if it was real at helping women who are victims of gender-based violence, where are the results today? The economy is not growing. When he came in, they said to us, the economy is going to be big under Ramaphosa. There will be jobs. There won't be corruption. Corruption has tripled, if not 4 times, under him. There's no accountability. When the public protector tried to hold him accountable, he fired him, fired her. Just sending her questions, he didn't do anything. She didn't call him by big nose like I always do. No. She just politely sent him 30 questions, and that was a crime. To a man who said, I'm the transparent man. I'm a man who's accountable. I will always be available to you. Aba bina pina ya Brayu. Brayu must be turning in his grave. Ar tumamina. Arar tumamina nyo choncha kankwa ubifa. Tumamina kahib upalaki accountability. Today, Mpumalanga mo. This place is rotten to the core. I get to see why there is no permanent protest in the streets of Mpumalanga on daily basis, because here corruption is the order of the day. You know, when the people of Nkomazi elected the EFF, you think, I know, it's us. No, it's us, yes, but they are tired of corruption. They are tired of thieving. Our own young woman elected with more than 60%. More than 60%. That is a huge sign of confidence. And if you can't build from that, you must know you missed an opportunity of the lifetime. You will never get it again. Ngwenya led the way. 60% victory, not muzam. Decisive victory. And you ought to follow in 2024. So, comrades, there will never be anything in this province if there is no action on the ground. I mean, you must ask the people of Sand River there. They didn't have water for 7 years. No water. But you can be guaranteed they stopped water in that area. They will go now and give them water. And the people of Sand River will clap hands and ululate, not seeing that these fools are playing with us. For 7 years, there is no water. All of a sudden, the ANC is about to lose elections. We are getting water. Open your eyes that someone is playing with us somewhere, because they think that we are fools. We are going to receive this water. We are going to drink it on our way to the voting station, where we are going to remove the ANC from power. So, I mean, here in Mbombela, the reason why I came today is because I asked the guys to check the weather forecast. If they said it was raining, I was not going to come. Because there's no road you can drive in Mbombela when it's raining. There is no water, the storm water drainage system in Mbombela. The whole town is full of water. Because when you design a road there must be a storm where the water gets to be channeled into and then leaves the town. That money of the storm was eaten. Because you don't know about the storm water drainage system. All you want is the tar road. They give you a tar road, but it's an incomplete tar road. When it rains in Mbombela city, the water is to this level. No car can move because monies have been stolen. And this is supposed to be the main city of this place. So if things can happen here in Mbombela, then forget about Mariti, Lebumkutlu. Kore mo wero di o khware bola ke metsi. A bila ona le motho a ka ba re cheka. Department of Education in Nelspruit has failed to build a single classroom. Not one. I'm telling you facts, and I want you to, the reason I'm telling you is because I want you to challenge them. That show me the classroom you have built. You have never built a classroom yet. And that then means learning and teaching will never happen in Mpumalanga. Yet we said to our children, go to school. Our children are in informal classrooms. Our children go to attend classes under trees in Mpumalanga. This is the province where monies for classrooms were eaten by the politically connected. Comrades, we must never allow that coal must leave this province of Mpumalanga because we are coal. Without coal, there's no Mpumalanga. The day they close coal and close coal power stations, that's the day you're all gone. And by the way, coal is everything. There is nothing we can do in the economy of South Africa without coal. And when they say, no, we are polluting, we are messing up the environment, go and look at research. We contribute very little in the pollution of the world. The biggest polluters is China and Europe and them, yet they don't say to them, close your coal power station. They come to us, the weak, so that we can engage in just energy transition, where money exchanges hands, where the politically connected have got now the license to produce independent electricity and sell it to us. If electricity gets to be produced by independent power producers without involvement of ESCOM, me and you will never afford to have electricity. Electricity is going to be for those who can afford and the rich, and we know who can afford. It's white people. But sometimes they create an impression that, no, Malema, Kwebani, they are members of parliament, they are rich, they can, hey. You know what you say about Tushem. Electricity and give it to the hands of private entities and exclude ESCOM. Even us, members of parliament, can't afford that electricity. We don't afford it now when it is under ESCOM. Imagine when it gets privatized. It's going to be double the problem, where we have no problem with independent power producers. Let's not stop them. Let them produce the power they want to produce. But don't stop ESCOM from doing the same thing. Let them produce, let ESCOM produce. Let's all be competitive. Our people must still have an alternative state provision of power in South Africa. So, we're risking losing 50,000 jobs if we don't stop this nonsense that they want to do here in Mpumalanga. And without those mines, you can forget. But bu Sylvia Numalo Shembo Mera bu Bushback Rich. Ay man ba right bo na ke ba kutseja abatsebi lilwe tja di coal ke le bojanga tjona. They're not paying attention. They don't even know what's happening. Bu Sylvia Shemai. Sylvia went to burn offices of the municipality, apparently, when the SIU went to investigate Bushbuck Ridge there about the corruption that has been taking place in that municipality. They are stealing in that municipality of Bushbuck Ridge because they think it's in a corner and no one can see them. Bomera bankomas, bopindile, magagula. Uhira di relative konkwamazi kwa. Lema ANC autoka di qualification. When she's challenged the problem, or no, EFF people are disrespectful. But we must fold our arms and not do anything when people who are not qualified are hired into positions of responsibility because they can sing the loudest ANC song. By the slogan, yes. If you don't know how to sing songs, you don't get employment. That's why there is the drainage system in Mpumalanga, because head of technical services was at the time chairperson of the region of Satu, who was teaching history and has got nothing and no knowledge on technical services. Bamuhira atiburunya ke gaeng because ke le khomo la Satu la khosatu. So bophindile ba etsa ntwe o ka mola bo sa sekane manzini, the most incompetent human being in the Department of Health, very useless. Comrades, there are no medical equipments in the hospitals of Mpumalanga. There is no medicine in the hospitals of Mpumalanga. The gogos in the province of Mpumalanga don't want to go to hospitals because when they are sick, because they say, you want us to go and die. Because they see those hospitals of Sasekane as a mortuary. But what is more painful, public protector, is that if there is a blood on the floor, there are no even chemicals to just mop those blood on the floor. A person just comes with a mop and water and do away with the blood. But the human blood needs more than that, especially in a hospital. Our hospitals here in Mpumalanga can't even clean blood on the floor. Yet, there's no protest of the EFF in Mpumalanga to stand up and say it cannot be business as usual. It can't be that so much is being collapsed in this province and there's nothing you can do. Sasekani aka kopana le tsotsiela ba re ke mandla. Le phichilela ba re ke mandla ndlovu. Le amochaba ba robola batho namo nanga moncha spugu. Na ke mochabe. Mandla ba rotsama le di gangster mo. He goes into clubs with gangsters and what? Mandla Msibi. Mandla Msibi. Ba utswa mo. Every big contract, Mandla Ndlovu, Mandla Msibi, Sasekane, Bari, you must give us 10% of every project that you are getting here in Mpumalanga. Otherwise, you will not work here in Mpumalanga. What type of life is that? People are given contracts here. They can't complete the contracts because politicians have taken the money. So the people of Siangova village, they were given RDP houses. But there's no clinic, there's no road, there is no water, no electricity. And then from there they say to you, we gave you an RDP house. We are not looking for RDP houses, we are looking for place of settlement. Our great-grandfathers and mothers, when they were coming down from the north of Africa, descending into the south, you must go and read history. They've never settled where there is no water. They always looked for a river before they settled. They don't just settle. Loechecha ANC, di phala le keep the people that came in the old days to know that you can't settle people where there is no water. Ufita, you build RDP houses in a bush, and say to people, we have given you houses, and our people must accept that. Those are not houses. You have dumped us. It's a camp. It's not a house. What house is that without water, without electricity, without school, without a place of worship? In their planning, they don't have, these are RDP houses. They don't have a shopping complex. They don't have a place of worship. They don't have a school. They don't know where the road is going to pass. That's why they can put an electricity pole right in the middle of the road. Because there's no thinking that is being applied before doing anything. So, comrades, Mpumalanga is the province of crime. There is huge crime happening here. We came to this church to bury Godrich's child as an evidence of how people get killed in Mpumalanga and nothing happens. Till to date, Godrich still doesn't know what happened to his child. So if they can do that to a member of parliament, former secretary general of the EFF, the funeral is high profile, it's everywhere on the TV, where police are supposed to show that we've got capacity, let's demonstrate. If they can fail such a person, what about those who stay at the border of Mozambique? That people get killed in Mpumalanga, nothing happens. Cash in transit in Mpumalanga has gone very high. There's no one who can do anything about it here in Mpumalanga. Police are in the pockets of criminals. When you speak, they kill you. When you speak, they kill you. That's why our Uba whistleblower is police who go and tell people that it is so and so who brought the information here about you. And then when we go, these people who killed Godrich's daughter were told by a traditional healer, after they killed this child, they went to the traditional healer, they cleanse us. What is the problem? They explain. The traditional healer goes to the police come, arrest the people. Right? No problem. The criminals are arrested. Boom! The traditional healer must come now and give evidence. He's dead. Nowhere to be found. How did these criminals know that the traditional healer gave information to the police? Then the next thing, there is some ugly fellow who's being brought. No, it's not those ones. It's now this one. We've got, he even confessed this one. We'll never know justice. That's why Godrich must sue them. At least Godrich is a lawyer, he can afford to sue the state and get something out of this. Many people in Mpumalanga go through that without any justice. Senzo Meiwa's father went to grave crying about his child. Today, Senzo Meiwa's mother is the one now who's crying the loudest. She's going to live without knowing justice. When you look at that case of Senzo Meiwa, you can see it is being messed up deliberately. No, judge yela ba rekile. Hey, hauna judge ya o rekwa. Judge work on the basis of the evidence before him. The evidence and chain of evidence is being messed up so that the real killers of Senzo Meiwa cannot be found. If they can't find Senzo Meiwa's killers, we're now man. Captain ya Bafana Bafana. Not Bafana Bafana ya Mushata ya loser. ya Bafana Bafanela wina, the real captain. Ya Pirates, ya Bulaiwa. Till today, we don't know what happened. That is the story of the people of Mpumalanga, where people get killed and there's nothing you can do. Comrades, I'm not complaining, I'm just sharing with you the ideas and the things that you know, that as you are here as a ground force, you ought to be thinking, how are we going to tackle these issues? Because you can't be a ground force if you don't appreciate that being a ground force, you are an epicenter of a revolutionary shift in South Africa. That you are the lifeblood of the revolution that is about to happen. And for you to be a ground force, you must always be ready to lead from the front. You can't be a ground force if you can't command the attention of the community. If you can't motivate the community, if you can't agitate communities, what type of a ground force are you? Because a ground force must be someone who's all-rounded. You must be an all-rounder as a ground force. So until society, you must go to society. When there is a funeral at home, there in the villages and townships, and men are cooking at the back there, you must be there cooking with men in the village there. Agaru ground force, that's a ground. You are listening to real issues of communities that get to be said uncensored without being intimidated by microphones and cameras. People are speaking freely. A ground force must be there as the eye and the ear to appreciate those community issues that get to be said at that level. You cannot be a ground force if you can't differentiate an authentic protest in the community and ANC faction protest. Because in the community, hona le mathakale a ANC anya ko ba di councillor. How I wish I knew Swati and Ndebele so that I can use them interchangeably to reach you direct. Because I keep on speaking Spady and it's wrong. So you must differentiate factional battles of the ANC from authentic protest. Because this one wants to become a councillor. All of a sudden, the councillor is not performing well. Then he mobilizes communities to go and fight the councillor, not necessarily because of service delivery, but because once this councillor is removed, I'm next in line. So a ground force must have the capacity to distinguish from authentic and factional protests that are happening, and do not join factional protest of the ANC. Always be part of authentic protest of communities and lead them from the front. Comrades, you must always know the grievances of the people and make sure that you are committed to resolving those problems of the people. Comrades, you must know what constitutes your what? Mafia. Mafia is a very dangerous name. Mafia. Huh? You must know what, I know what constitutes my what. I know all the schools. I know all the clinics. There's no clinic. It was there, it's finished. ANC, apartheid gave us clinic. ANC came to close it. I know all the churches in my what? All of them, I can call them by name and I can give you direction. I know who stays next to that church. I know who stays next to that school. I know my communities by heart. 3 weeks ago, I took the children from the 2 high schools in my what? The matriculants, took them to my place called Mikiti in Polokwane, had lunch with them, got the speakers to come and talk to them. Because I speak to them all the time, so they're so used to me. So I said, this one, Malangan, okay. Maybe when I got to come and talk to them. I got Vuyani, got former Miss South Africa to go and talk to the kids. And then I got Lekau of Drip to donate the Drip shoes for the kids. Took them out of the township with a bus into a different environment so that they know whoever told them you are going to die here, they are not going to die here. They've started a journey of getting out of that township. You must do that and do it genuinely. I'm telling you now, you don't know about it. I'm telling you now because I want you to do things that I will not ask you to do if I don't do them myself. I've never asked you to do anything I don't do. If I say it's time to put up posters, I put up posters myself. If I say to you, look after your parents, I look after my parents myself. So, look after your ward and know those people by names and know all the dynamics. Even when you can't help them, even when you can't change anything, they just know or mafia case. From there, people like a leader who tries, not some absent leader who never takes an effort. Now we are going to elections. You are going to be the first one who will be going there. Hey, Rabana Balena, we are from here. When are you from here? Okay, but Nelly guy, where were you? Baobona every day. They know you are here. But where were you? They are not asking about your diary. Where were you during our suffering? Where were you when it was raining and water came into my house? Where were you when my pregnant child was about to give birth? We called ambulances, asked for cars everywhere. We couldn't find a car, but the councillor of the EFF has got a buggy, and he could not be found anywhere. Why does he have a buggy? He wants to tick a box, or when the leadership comes, I don't know, but he doesn't know what is the job of the buggy. Lebelele guy, where were you? They are not asking you about the diary. We went through pain during COVID-19, ANC giving people food parcels through say names. Where were you, EFF, to stop them at that time and make sure food parcels are distributed properly? Nelele guy. Today you are here asking us to vote for you. Don't think they are not watching. They are watching. And they know all of you as you pass them and not greet them and not help them with anything. Comrades, you must have answers to every question they ask you. How do I have answers? Read. Don't read Twitter. Don't read Facebook. Read political material and literature so that you are aware of what's happening in this country and you can give answers. It's so disappointing to do a door-to-door and you are asked a simple question you can't answer. You can't answer it because you are not reading. Comrades, when you are a leader, by virtue of being a branch election task force conveners and coordinators, you are leaders. So when you are a leader, you are a doctor of society. You are a doctor of society. So whereas people complain, you don't join in the complaint, you join in the provision of alternative solutions to their problems. Because when they see you, they see a doctor. Huh? You are going for a surgery. They put you in a theater. Dr. Vauda will know this. In a theater, you are so helpless. They are about to inject that thing so that you can sleep. You are crying. You are in pain. Because you South Africans like white people. A white doctor comes in. You're like, oh, I will about to doctor. No, I get low fall today. You what's all the pain in your easy doctor fitting. Ukwababulela from a distance, but the doctor has arrived. You're the doctor has arrived. The attitude you change. I'm hoping now I'm going to be healed. As you are about to be made to sleep, the doctor start crying like you. Come out theater, the doctor, Abado bana khumula o follow am betula ra. Ye ka sa khonega. Ye. Ya motho ano wa ullau. That's what you are. When you go into communities, they complain, you join in the complaint. You are like a crying doctor in a theater. Provide an alternative solution. Comrades, a fighter cannot be overwhelmed by emotions. You can't be overwhelmed by emotions. Utama mo kwatile ya wantelela. Everything gets to be dealt with in a properly calculated manner. As a ground force, you can't be overwhelmed by emotion. Always make a calculated move and do not make emotional decisions. Because if you get overwhelmed by emotion, you must know the revolution will not be advanced. So we have to make sure that all the ground forces do not hold grudges and squabbles permanently. So you are not a good fighter if you hold a grudge against another fighter. We don't hold grudges against each other. We raise issues, we finish them there, it's done. Now some of these comrades think I've got bipolar. I don't have bipolar because I scream at them now. And then the next thing when they find me on the other side, I'm a completely changed person. We dealt with that issue, it's done. We are moving to the next one. How can Tsorala di grudge? It's not my problem. I'm not there. I'm not here to hold grudges against anyone. Comrades, when we were growing up, we called each other Matabani, Lebo Kolen. We said Matabani. So Matabani concept was explained to me by a Pedi-speaking man. But I doubted him, but Dali confirmed it the other day when I was speaking to someone. Or Matabani is those people who go into an initiation and then they're supposed to put that powder that they put on themselves. And that powder must cover the whole body, including the back. And it must be beautifully done on your body. But you can't do it at the back. So someone must come and put it at the back. And then after he finishes doing that, you must do the same to that person. Matabani, bona. That's how they called each other Matabani. That's where the concept Matabani comes from, because Bayatabani. And then that they're doing that, the teacher is waiting outside. In the initiation there is no mam pepper. Everything must be done to its perfection. Then you don't know whether this person has perfected you at the back. But you have to trust him because it's your Kaban. You have no mirror to see at the back. This person at the back is your mirror. This person is your comrade. You know that I will never leave this place if my back is not proper. A comrade of mine will stop me and say, let me perfect it before we leave. So when you are a leader, when you are a fighter, when you are a ground force, you don't have to look at the back, because if there are fighters at the back, you know they've covered your back. You have to confront the enemy. Because if you have to fight the front and the back, you will not succeed. You ought to ask the question today, whether you've got such a person in the EFF who is your Lekabani. A person I can trust, that he's got my back. We ought to have each other's back. If you did not have each other's back when you were coming here, today you know what Maqabane means. And if you are Maqabane to each other, you've got an obligation to have each other's back. What does having each other's back means? It means if you die, your children will never go hungry. You don't have to see me. You are not here, you are dead. You are a comrade of mine. Your family will never die of hunger. That I will always know where your children are, and if I don't know, I will dare to find them. Because you are my Lekaban. It goes to the grave. It goes to a point where you say, we will die next to each other. We'll be buried next to each other. That's what you are saying by sitting here. And if you are not saying that, you are in a wrong place. Because here are the people who are prepared to die next to each other in the same place. How do I say that? What proof do I have that these people are ready to die next to each other? It is because they are all here under one roof and they oppose capitalism and they oppose the ruling party. They can be bombed at any time here in this hall. Yet they took a risk and said, I will die where my comrades are dying. And therefore I'm going to that meeting. Comrades, you have given yourself a huge responsibility. You know, how lele kabane laka if you are my lekaban. You come to me now, Mr. Malema, rena le business mo. Ncha 50,000, kincha 50,000 ga 100, rodia business, rodia 200,000. Then utlogra 50, augre 50 angwe, bag 100. 100. And then for some reason, that business doesn't make 200,000. It makes 150,000. You came to me. I never came to you. You came to me. You are going to take that 150,000. Take your 50. Give me my 50. And give me the 50 you promised me. Because that's a man of integrity and honor. Or no, munola. Ke musukheji asa tsebe selo ka musukela. From there, after doing that, I get by Zijer blow me, hey, let me tell you the real story. Care what happened? Or rapper will 150 mon. Ke no go 100 like or ke ona go tsepishi. But the reality is that after everything, whenever done, dusted, if I'm your lekabane ke tlo go na you can't do that. Let me take from that 50 you gave me 25,000. Utshare luena le nna ke tshware. So, to be a lekabani, to be a man of honor and man of integrity, is not an easy thing. It's doing the right thing when no one is looking. Skaro udia din tomo uru khazana le rena. Or impress. Huh? Did you see now yesterday bar EFF no bila bar EFF bar umpile urumeji proof of payment ya Afri Forum bar we dealing ye fraudulent proof of payment to Afri Forum from Standard Bank, which was a lie anyway. I was in Kenya when those things were said. I was like, it's not possible. But Maqabane Arena EFF were believing that lie. Were believing that lie and even joined in the attack of the leadership. A lie that was peddled by the most dangerous enemy of the EFF called Afri Forum. How do you believe Afri Forum over the leadership of your organization? And then come into this hall and say, Maqabane. And then you attack the organization and the leadership with ease. You never wait to hear what does the leadership have to say about this matter? Never attack your organization and its leadership in public. Because we are being attacked by a lot. We cannot afford to be attacked by you. The platform is here where issues must be raised. All of you, when you leave here, branch election, task force coordinators and conveners, you are going to establish VDETFs in every VD in the whole of your branch. Because your branch is not your VD. Some of you think your branch is your VD, where you come from. Some of you have got 11 VDs and they are far from each other. So you have to go and establish VDETF there. So you know the EF, even if I'm not there, there are people of the EFF in that corner who are looking after the election work of the EFF, and it is your job as BETF to make sure that those VDETFs are serviced. Most of you go and establish VD structures. They will see you that day. They are going to see you the other day when you are looking for the election results. You don't service your VDETFs. You, for God's sake, you are a branch election coordinator. What are you coordinating if you can't coordinate the VD? Your job is to coordinate the VDs. Coordination. Coordination. Huh? Coordinate. You coordinate the VDs. You don't go and launch a VD and disappear. You launch a VDETF, you visit them every weekend. There must not be an activity of the EFF in one VD. They must rotate different VDs of the branch activities. That's how you are going to produce activists. Activists come from activities. You can't be an activist without activity. Activist, activity. So you must know that for us to be activists, we must have activities. What are the activities? Netball competition, soccer competition, cultural day, tournament, drum majors, anything that keeps our community busy is an activity. March for crime. You are from a village, there is a stock theft. So you be march and a march walena, your march can't be the same size as FNB. Whether there are 50 people, whether there are 40 people, we're starting. We're going to march. Our village is too small. It will never have many people. Even if they come out, all of them, there will never be many. So some of you see an event being small, you think, it was not successful. No. It's a very successful event. How? We're keeping communities involved and active. So don't look for massive events because you may not even have the resources to do so. Whatever little thing you can do to keep your branch busy, your community busy, do exactly that. Comrades, the people who look after our votes at VDETFs, it must be people who come from there. Don't say in the Nelspruit, what is the Godrich suburb here? Amagugu. Yeah. So you don't say, no, at Amagugu, we can't find people. So we're going to take people of Kanyamazan to come and be volunteers here and be party agents here. The people of Kanyamazan, when it says 7 and the darkness is starting, they're like, you? They start looking for transport. They get into a transport, out. Magugu, what are the numbers there? We want the results. There's no one. Why? They ran for cover. They went home. Because those things of counting, they are going to finish at 2 o'clock. There is no one here who's going to take us home. We're leaving. That's why you must get the people who come from there. And they don't undermine each other. Abatelelani when they are from there. Amatabala ba ANC ba re ba mo tshoshetsa gore o ska ne go ntelela wena. A ke re ba tsebana o tle o nthome o tla ntseba. They know each other. They will never even intimidate each other. They lose and win together and walk together back home. They accompany each other. Why? The most likelihood is that they are even relatives, those people. So why do you want to give someone some headache which can be resolved by the people who come from there? Whether we finish at 2 or at 3 o'clock, home is just here. From the school, after counting, I walk home. That's why we're saying the VDETFs must be people who come from there. There must be registered voters of that place. There must be residents of that place. Through that, you are halfway through. Your job is almost done. Because, let me tell you a secret. It doesn't matter who votes for what. What matters is who's going to count the votes. So we ought to make sure that we look after the votes, even after voting. Comrades, our campaign is person to person, door to door, church by church, school by school. Where we see people, we talk to them. No unnecessary rallies and what. Those things you do after. We're going to speak to everyone who is on the ballot paper, on the voters' roll. And we don't just do door to door. They are door to door, sorry, canvassing sheet, sorry, voters' roll. What's your name? You must do door to door voters. Don't worry if you don't have voters roll. Don't worry if you don't have canvassing sheet. It's not your job. It's a job of these ones. If I come, you say we don't have canvassing sheet, you don't even have to panic. You'll just see people sweating behind you. You must have canvassing sheets. Where are we going to get that now? Voters roll, where are we going? It's not your job. These leaders must give you voters roll. These leaders must give you canvassing sheets. They must always make sure that our structures are serviced. So, fighters, please, when we do that, don't use violence. Don't threaten violence, especially against women who belong to other political parties and women who belong to the EFF. Don't use violence. Don't threaten violence. We are going to run a clean campaign. People must elect us based on our manifesto, not because you intimidated them. Fighters, we don't remove posters of other political parties. Rather, go and put up your own poster. Agra activity. Activity. Remove EFF posters and put them back again if you are bored. Don't remove other people's posters. Comrades, don't disrupt other people's meetings. ANC to a meeting, don't go and disrupt. Please allow them to campaign freely. Do not prevent anyone from exercising their political rights. Comrades, do not stop other people from other political parties from doing door to door. So there where I come from in my township, there's a huge informal settlement called Juju Valley, We took it when we were doing land occupation. We're housing not less than 4,000 families. Settled properly. We even did the roads, and it's a proper place. And then when we took the land, it's a land of some white men we took. And then he came, he said, yeah, Mr. Malema, hey, the land, okay, what are you doing with this land? Because there's no fence, no, I'm going to build this, and I said, okay. Tell me which part you are prepared to separate with. Say, okay, you can take from here to that side. Okay, fighters, we take from here to that side, don't go this side. This man is going to build middle-income houses, shopping complexes, and. Okay, no problem, this side. Then, chief, come in. When you build those houses there, you don't think you can pass some water into our shacks? Area is doable, look at it. Sewer, toilets, is doable. Electricity, I will do. So I got water, electricity, and sewer from that gentleman of a white person. But he has not started building. So I told him, or if we, by the time this year finishes, I don't see action, I'm occupying the other side as well. But the point I'm trying to make is, those EFF people there then say to ANC people, no one's going to enter here. You are not going to campaign here. Everyone who stays here, vote for EFF. Everyone. No one can enter. No, but don't do that. You can't do that. Allow them to go and campaign. That is going to give our people an opportunity to tell them right on their faces, so why are you denying our people an opportunity to come face to face with these thugs and tell them on their faces that you are criminals? So don't stop anyone from campaigning if your message is strong. Comrades, no candidate must be insulted of another political party, and no violent language must be used. But worse, none of you must campaign for the EFF under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So I went to address the former PP in Gauteng. I'm like, you comrades must not drink alcohol and go and campaign for EFF. That event was too big. I think it had 6,000 people. When they clap hands, yeah, it's a beering going, yeah. Kwa really. We mija biro na kamo meeting. Do not campaign under the influence of alcohol. Do not speak to people smoking cigarettes. Look at now. Hey, it's funama vote. It's funama vote. Yeah, you know, God smokes a lot. You know, but He knows when to smoke and when not to smoke. So you must know when to smoke and when not to smoke. You cannot smoke talking to a potential voter. Comrades, there are people who just love alcohol. It's a problem of our society. In Bushbuck Ridge, it's even worse. Yo, Moladiabu, Bushbuck Ridge. All political parties, PPs, not EFF only. Next week, they are the voter registration. You must go to Bushbuck Ridge. Every table, a political party, it's already caught home. So, or maybe Kirina, Baba Bantu, ANC, EFF, the DA, it's a Bushbuck Ridge. But please do not drink alcohol. They love the EFF, they're with us, they're always wearing our regalia. Know how to use them. Take him to Miyako cooking center, take him, put him somewhere, and then you know when we are done, we'll go and call him and be together because we are a people's organization. The problems you see in society, you are going to see them in the EFF, but let's try and manage them in the EFF. And you as leaders, you are even worse. You cannot drink alcohol. Comrades, you must always be clean. Be clean. Because a lot of comrades think that when you say you must be clean, they think you are saying they must wear expensive. Just be clean, especially when you are wearing an EFF regalia, wear a clean EFF regalia. And you must smell good because I know those things are expensive, but we must try smell good. Because you are walking into someone's house. Out and a fella, the armpits are smelling. And then you say to these people, we are going to give you jobs. The kwafa of America. Always know that, and these are lessons you must carry even in your life, private life. That you dress up the way you want to be addressed. By how you dress up, people will know you want to be addressed in this way. Monna ke le fetla monna o swantse a be le smile nya a re nya ke banna ba nkga please le thape le ska tsena ka metseng ya batho le se le thape, because that is so unattractive. Remember, guys, when we are campaigning, we are proposing, we are free, we are you are free on Kamakwafa. You are selling yourself. But before we buy your product, we look at you. Before we eat this food, it doesn't matter how nice the food can be, but the presentation, if it's not proper, we won't touch it. Because before be very careful not to lose voters, not because you don't have a good message, but because you don't look like your message. And therefore your message appears to be too good to be true. So please, once you do all of that, by sending a positive message, it doesn't mean we can't criticize the ANC. It doesn't mean we can't criticize the DA. It doesn't mean we can't criticize the president. No. We are just not going to engage in violent activities, and it doesn't make us cowards. We just don't want to be provoked, because we don't provoke anyone. That should be the spirit within which we are going to carry forward this campaign. Fighters, you don't just say, I'm not the one who said they must fight. I never said, CIC said, we must not incite violence. Therefore, I'm not the one who incited it, so I don't care, even if it happens. No. Don't incite violence, but if violence happens, condemn it. Condemn it. Go to or no, you must condemn it. Or we are not going to have violence, we are going to have a peaceful election. Comrades, we must make sure that activities of the IEC are supported by us. If the IEC comes for voter registration, how to teach people to vote, we are there to support the IEC. But also make sure IEC doesn't employ SADU members, because they are well-known SADTU members and SADTU leaders. You must object them. Why? Because SADTU said it's going to vote for the ANC. And SADTU is an affiliate of COSATU, which said it's going to vote for the ANC. How can a party that said is going to vote for the ANC run the elections? So you must object to any SADTU person who's known in your community because of that. Help the IEC with every investigation, report everything to the IEC and the police. And at all material times, do not speak to people before you introduce yourself. You must greet and introduce yourself. So, kwa Limpopo, I think even here in Mpumalanga, Colin, you don't do door-to-door during Scheme Sam. A Scheme Sam is Dalamo TV, not door-to-door. A generation is Dalamo TV, not door-to-door. 7 o'clock prime time news. Lebana ba itsiba ka moga edo toma ndundu ba tsiba yo le noise ya fast. Batswadi ba ilo lebella ditaba yona. It's news time. So pace yourself. Know the timing. What is the right time to do door to door so that you avoid being an irritation. You must never be an irritation. You are going to attract the votes. Don't irritate the people you want them to vote for you. Comrades, listen to what people are saying during door-to-door and write it down. When you don't have an answer, don't answer. Because you are going to make fool of yourself. And by extension, make fool of the EFF. Engwale fasi uba botjore ye age ikwishisha botse erenke engwale fasi. I'll go and ask my leaders, then I will come back and be true to come back and give them the answer on that question you could not answer. Comrades, never be disparate to appear smart. Just be genuine. These are your people. Speak the language they know. Don't try speak English and try very hard. No, don't. Just be yourself. And then answer genuinely. They're going to ask you, what are you going to do with load shedding? You must answer it without hesitation. We are going to stop it in the EFF because load shedding is man-made and is done by the ANC because it wants to outsource electricity generation to their own people. And we are going to come in, service the coal power stations, build more capacity of generation, and invite the outside world to come and help us to build a well-resourced power generation in South Africa. China can help us. Russia can help us. When you have a problem, you don't sit and just say, no, I will see when to help it, to solve it. You must cry for help, and other people will come and help you. When you say to build a very big, powerful coal power station, is because they've got it. The biggest coal power station is in China. They've got it. We don't have money. Yes, let them come and build it. Build, operate, transfer. We said to them, you are going to operate it, it's yours for 30 years. After 30 years, you hand it over to South Africa, you leave South Africa. They leave us with an asset that we have not spent a cent on because we failed to build Kusile. For so much money was used, still there is no product. Tell them we are going to create jobs because all of these state-owned companies are going to work under the EFF and they will create more jobs. That all of the minerals of this country will be beneficiated here in South Africa because beneficiation means processing. this mineral into a finished product. And that's a job creation. That's a job chain. When chrome leaves Skukuni into Richards Bay off to China, chrome is going to be processed into steel. Those people who are processing it into steel in China, ke mmereko. Ba bereka o processor chrome into steel. Then steel comes back to South Africa as a finished product. Why? That's why you don't have jobs. It's because you are consumers. You are not manufacturers. South Africa under the EFF will be a manufacturing country. We are going to turn South Africa into a construction site because we will build all of the collapsed infrastructure of water, electricity, roads, hospitals, and all of those facilities. Comrades in Niger, those comrades did a coup and removed France's puppet and then put Revolutionary Council to run Niger and then chased out the soldiers of France out of Niger. But overthrew the coup. But France, you are no longer going to buy uranium at 200 rand. You are going to buy it at market-related price, and market-related price is 2,000. From now onwards, you are buying uranium at 2,000. France needs that uranium. They are buying it at 2,000. As a result, Niger's economy under that military council is one of the fastest growing economy in Africa. Nothing happened. Asanga mudimu atewe, asanga ba phase badimo ba bolai dipudi, nothing. The political leadership had a political will, and it said the stealing of our uranium is going to end today. If you want our uranium, you are going to pay, and you are going to pay the market price. That money is coming in now into Niger. The people are going to benefit out of it. How are you? Up the same way we did in 2010 World Cup. Any political leader accused of corruption with prima facie evidence shall be tried in the special court of corruption so that that case doesn't last long. We arrest you in less than no time, the matter is resolved, you are in jail. Once people know that corruption is punishable and people are arrested, and these are the people who got arrested, they are going to stop. People are doing corruption because they see that there is nothing happening on corruption. We are going to build state-of-the-art schools in South Africa where education is going to be fashionable. We want to make public education more qualitative than private education, so that people must choose public schools over private schools, and school must be free, because you can't buy education as if you are buying a cake. There must be a difference between education and a cake, because education is not a commodity, it's a right. And once they say this is your right, it must be free of charge. There must be clinic in every ward that operates 24/7 with proper security, looking after the nurses and the doctors and the equipments that are provided in that particular clinic. And primary health care must be free of charge. All of these are the things that you are going to confront when you do door to door. But you've got answers. Where are the answers? In the EFF manifesto, in the EFF founding manifesto, in all of the documents that we have given you in the EFF, your answers are there. You must be clued up, Pel. Outsena mo dintlong tša batho ba bona gore o tsena clever. Ba re mara ba o ka re ba tla e lokisha ntho man, o ka re ba e tshwere. Ska ke ra o le wena o tsena dintlong tša batho o tshwana le bona, le wena o tsebe. Le wena o tsebe. Lo dia yo a mebereko yo re ta bona pele. And then le feleletša le re monga rena le ranna. But Lord, you are mebereko. Monga rena Malema o ta bona. Wena mola o be ngona mola, ko wena Malema mola. You are the Malema of that branch. You are the Malema of that VD. Without you, there is no EFF on the ground. And then you are going to give them the solutions. Lead our people from the front. Stop taking a back seat. Our people are looking for an alternative. They don't know where to find you. Go to them in the farms. Go to them in the factories. Go to them in the universities. Go to them in the suburbs, in the township, in the hostels, everywhere where a human being can be found. Go and sell the wisdom and the solutions of the EFF. Do not be shy. A fighter is not a shy person. Do not be scared to speak to the rich because you are poor. Do not be scared to speak to the educated because you don't have metric. Your metric is the founding manifesto of the EFF. Your metric is the beret you wear. Don't doubt yourself. Your own teachers who knew you struggle with maths, go and check them one day wearing an EFF beret and look at how their attitude changes immediately, because they know on top of your head you are wearing a superior logic. You can answer every question that they give you on that day. We are going to war now. And you can't go to war without being equipped. You can't go to war unprepared, because if you go to war without being prepared, just know you have lost the war already. Riantweng. We are going to fight for our land. We are going to fight for our mines. We are going to fight for our banks. We are going to fight for decolonized free education. We are going to fight for the jobs of our people. When you stand up and go home today, you must know that you are beginning a journey to victory of 2024. It starts here, it starts today. It can't be led by cowards. If you are a coward, you can be part of us. If you are a coward, you must know you don't belong here. Here are the people who are going to fetch victory in 2024. Amanda! Maitlome! 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 Liabasabana! Liabasabana! Aunoma kubi Siaya Siaya No makubi Siaya Siaya No mabesetubola Besishaya Besibopa No mabesetubola Besishaya Besibopa No makubi Siaya Siaya No makubi Siaya Siaya No mabesetubola Besishaya Besibopa No mabesetubola Besishaya Besibopa Who left? Who right? Come on, son. Who left? Kita? Killer man. Kiriwatabata. Samarumo. Samarumo. Asicha. Where were you when I'm sitting? Where were you when I'm dreaming? So fast, Kichi. Emoye. So fast, Kichi. Etlati. Kichi, Kichi, Kichima. Sibram Konto Alliance. Shoot to kill. Kilame. Shoot to kill. Yamasa. Brr pa. Pa. Brr pa. Pa. Tension.
Thank you. So what's the program? What's that? Amanda. Amanda. Thank you very much, President and Commander-in-Chief, for the workshop. It was mouthful. We've learned a lot. I think we are ready now as fighters. Sangish. Nieba Savana. Nieba Savana. I will now call upon the provincial coordinator to do announcement. Or provincial secretary. PS.
Amanda! Amanda! Viva EFF, viva! Viva EFF, viva! Woza 2024, woza! Thank you very much, Provincial Chairperson, the convener of Nkangala. Let me take this opportunity and greet the President and also say to the President, Relukwele. Let me take this opportunity to say convener wa rena wa province wa election task force, the Treasurer General Umpilwe Mautwe, le our coordinator Mam Reneilwe Mashabel, and all the leadership of the province, all the SRETF, the RETF, and all BETF conveners and coordinators and councillors and all ward councillors of Mpumalanga. Umsebenzi wami mncane. My job is to make announcement. Announcement ukuthi masuka la there will be 4 set of tables or stations la siyothola khona ukuya ethunjeni or ukudla. Angithi sesidle kakhulu manje. Manje siyoqedelela ngaphandle, and we want to take this opportunity and say to all BETF conveners or to all ground forces of the EFF, travel safe, arrive alive, because the war has started and we cannot start the war without you. So we must make sure that we arrive safe. Abu taxi driver betu or ama transport but drive safely. Amanda! Amanda!
Thank you very much, Provincial Secretary. We will allow the President and officials to go out first, and then we can all go through that door and then get the food. Sibonga kakhulu ukusiphatha kahle. We have been a good audience. The meeting is closed. Vuma kamnandi lapho, DJ. Yeah, remain seated, we'll let you know when to go. Remain seated, the president is still going out. Asdali vuma kamnandi ngapho DJ. Ingqondo idlile seyisuthi sekusela isiso. Sesidlile ngasenhloko sesisele ngasesuswini.